Good morning, everyone. I hope that you're doing great. Yes, feel free to put your headphones on, dial in. I hope that you've had a coffee, enjoyed all the side events last night and networking for those of you who've been to dinners, parties, drinks. Hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. My name is Sebastien. I have the pleasure to be your moderator for today for day 2 of Tartu Startup Day 2025 here at the Deep Tech Lounge. We have a lot of really exciting sessions for you today. From 11 to 3, we're going to have a lot of experts. We're going to talk about export. We're going to talk about incubation. We're going to talk about health tech and clinical trials. We're going to talk about DNA and quite a few other topics. So I hope that you're excited and ready for those sessions. And now, without further ado, I would like to welcome our 2 panelists for the first session of this morning, where we're going to talk a little bit about entering the Swedish and German markets. So please give a big round of applause and welcome Leana Kammertöns, Export Advisor for the German market for Enterprise Estonia, and Tom Holgersson, Export Advisor for the Swedish market for Enterprise Estonia. Good morning, Leana. Morning, Tom. How are you?
Very well.
I'm fine.
Thanks for having us.
My pleasure. It's great to have you both. I'm really excited for our discussions. I mean, you both have a wealth of experience in your respective fields and markets, and I have a lot of questions for you around, what that means for Estonian companies and how they can actually expand outside of Estonian borders. But before we dig in, I wanted to have a quick introduction from both of you on the work that you do and where you're based.
Well, I'm Leana. I'm working as an export advisor at Enterprise Estonia in Berlin, in Germany, in the Estonian embassy. And my role is to help Estonian companies in the German market. But my background, I'm living in Germany already almost for 30 years. So I think I can give a really good. I have a really good feeling for this market and speak the German language. So I've worked in the public sector, but also in the industry, in the wooden industry, but also in the metal industry. So it's a kind of diverse experience that I can bring in for the Estonian companies.
Brilliant, thank you. What about you, Tom?
Yes, so my name is Tom Holgersson. I was actually born in Southeast Asia, but grew up in Sweden. So I lived in Sweden most of my life. My background is both private and public sector. I worked many years in the financial space, Fintech sector, but also worked extensively in Southeast Asia for development agencies, but also had my own business. And I think that our works as export advisors are quite similar. Our job is to help Estonian companies do business in our respective markets, but also to understand a little bit how Sweden works. And even if Sweden is quite close to Estonia, there are a lot of differences that I will give you some tips and advice. And also Sweden is a very important market for Estonian companies. We'll get into that later.
Yeah, absolutely. No, thank you for setting the scene and giving us a little bit of that intro. I think the first question I want to start with, right, is what are some of your key criteria when evaluating Estonian companies like for market entry into either Germany or Sweden? How do you assess their readiness to enter the market?
Well, I'm usually starting with an introduction call and to talk, to get to know the company better. What is the product? What is the service they want to offer to the German market? And does it have a potential for the German market? Is there any need for that product or service? And how could be the way to the German market? And it's very important that the company also already has done some research. If they just had an idea, Germany, great market, big, of course, more than 80 million consumers, very attractive, but they usually little bit underestimate the work that you have to do to enter this market successfully. So I try to evaluate if they are ready to take this work on them, and to if they also have some resources for this way to go. I think these are very important criteria. The market need that can be or not, and that I can maybe give my estimation because I knew the market really well, and then to check if the resources are there, if they have the knowledge, and then yes, the resources is really important.
Thank you. And you, Tom, any?
Yeah, I think for Sweden, I would say it's quite similar, but I think what I'm trying to understand quite quickly is if it's like, is it a small, medium-sized or large corporation, and also what kind of experience do you have with Sweden previously to going there? So that's really important. And also, like, do you have the right resources? Because it takes time to build your brand and reputation. You might be big in Estonia and the Baltics, but that doesn't mean anything for Sweden at all. And everything that Leana said also is the same, I would say, for Sweden. But if you're well prepared and you sort of have something unique to sell, you can succeed. And a lot of companies are successful in Sweden. But it takes a lot of work behind it.
I can imagine. And I want to touch upon something that we've discussed previously off the stage that I think is very key for a lot of people here in the audience today as well. Like, how does the business culture differ between Estonia, Sweden, and Germany, and what are some of the key misconceptions that companies looking to expand in those markets are facing quite quickly?
Yeah, I think I've seen a lot of interesting scenarios, and I think the most common one is that Estonia, I would say, is more like an emerging market. Everything is really fast here, whereas Sweden is quite the opposite. It's like old-fashioned. Things are going really slow. It's consensus-driven. So decisions are taken not by the CEO, by several people. So I've seen a lot of people hiring salespeople for Sweden for just half a year to a year to succeed. It's impossible. And even if you're Swedish, it's the same. So you have to give it I would say 2 to 3 years and build a strong pipeline and a brand, attending events, those kind of things that we do at Enterprise Estonia is important. But I think that the biggest thing is that the misconception is that companies from Estonia things will go as quick as it's done in Estonia and the Baltics. It's not the case in Sweden. Sweden is not particularly in need of anything. So that's why I can see it's a challenge for many companies.
Yes, I agree, but I wouldn't say it's the market is old-fashioned. Maybe more to say this is traditional. So this is, yeah. Sometimes you say the old world. It's the people are feeling good, but it has becoming to change. The German market also they have everything. It's everything there. And it was there were good times, a very, very long time, but now these challenges, the lack of skilled workers, lack of digitalization, lack of the climate change, all these global challenges are they come with very great pressure. And they cannot ignore them anymore. So there is need for solutions, and that can be chance also for small companies, also for startups. If they have really innovative approach and challenge and products, services, they can, with the right help, they can enter the market and can make a difference there, and can be successful.
Yeah, and that kind of leads me to beyond the standard metrics that you would expect any successful company to be able to enter those markets, right? Financial and team, etc. What are some of the unique factors or elements that you feel is making for successful expansion to Germany or to Sweden?
I mean, for Sweden, it's you should have something. I mean, at least fairly unique to sell into the market. That's key. You have to be competitive when it comes to price, but foremost is that you sell with quality, because that's what people buy in Sweden. And also everything has to do with, in Sweden, everything is long term. So if you go there now, you're gonna have to be in the market for a long term. I mean, we're talking many years. And that's why it's very difficult. The first step is to enter. That's the toughest part. Once you're in, you say you sign up one big client, you have a good reference, it will spread by itself. But the first 2-3 years will be tough for any company. That's what I can see.
That's pretty the same in Germany. You have to have this unique product. You have to have something innovative, but you also must have. You must also be competitive in price and in quality. So these are all things that are expected in Germany, and otherwise you wouldn't survive. You wouldn't get your chance. And still, if it all matches, you need long breath. You need patience and you need the right partners. But if you just offer something that is already there, that they're common, you don't have any chance.
And also another thing I think it's important that I've seen many Estonians, they wait too long to hire a Swedish person that speaks Swedish and can understand how the society works. And many of the companies that I talked to in recent years, they said we wish we would hire a Swede sooner. It's going to be a bit of cost, but it's if you find the right person, that one can bring in a lot of deals and can understand Sweden that no one from Estonia can, because that person lives there, built its own network and all those things. It's just like someone coming to Estonia. If you don't know anything, it's going to take some time. So you can quite quickly leverage your success. And I've seen a few companies that has done that. And they just said that the same story was that you should have hired some a lot earlier. Everybody in Sweden speaks English very well, but Swedish is the local language. So it's always better if you can speak Swedish. But I guess the same in every country.
Yeah, language is also an issue in Germany because large country, and if you approach mid-sized companies, it can happen that they don't speak English even, or they don't speak English on a project level. The CEOs, they all speak English, but if you go into the deeper and into the projects, then you have a problem. So you need you need a person who can speak German, who knows the country. So salespeople in the country are really important for the success. And yeah, unfortunately, it's the issue with big countries. Say they feel comfortable and they expect that you speak German.
Understandable, and I was not surprised to also hear that it's even more of an issue in Germany than it would be in Sweden. Even though culturally it might be appreciated that you then also speak Swedish, I think in Germany it's a need in a lot of contexts and companies. We talked a little bit about patience. That's very much needed in kind of slightly longer timelines to operate than what might be expected in Estonia. But what timeline should Estonian companies realistically expect for a successful market entry? From your experience, what's the shortest that you've seen in Germany and Sweden, and kind of what's the average timeline?
I mean, setting up a limited company, an AB in Sweden, that's something you can do very quickly. So then you have per se a presence, but to actually sign up customers, I would say 2 to 3 years. But of course, it depends on industry as well. But in general, I would say 2 to 3 years to build that sort of pipeline and a bit of the branding.
Regarding Germany, you even need for founding a company, you need 3 to 4 months. It's also not so, it's surprising for Estonian companies, for many Estonian companies, that it takes its time. Yeah, the normal time is about 2 or 3 years. But if you are maybe a startup and searching for accelerator or kind of pilots, it can be quicker. It's a little bit more dynamic because they are also very interested to get this innovation into the country. So it can be also a little bit quicker.
Okay, now I wanted to ask a little bit about the role that Estonia's digital reputation plays in like market entry, right? Like, is there actually a big role? Like, is it a plus for companies here to have Estonia's reputation like precede them? And how can companies leverage this if it's the case?
I think that, I mean, Estonia is well known for sort of the digital systems here. I don't think they can leverage on it. Everybody knows it's digital, it's fast. So that's just like, I would say it's not like something that you can benefit big on. It's more like, yeah, it probably makes it easier for some companies that if you say you're from Estonia, everybody knows about e-residence and how the authorities work here. A very advanced system, but that's basically it. Then it's more up to the companies for themselves to show what's the next story, sort of what's up and coming. But I mean, I'm very impressed with Estonia that they have so many unicorns in such a small country. Sweden has lots of unicorns too, but looking at the size of the country, it's just amazing. I'm very impressed.
How do you feel about that in Germany, Leana?
It's really great to experience how good the Estonian e-story or e-Estonia stories works in Germany. So very many Germans know Estonia story, and Estonia is so digital and so advanced in digital sphere. That works really well, but the biggest challenge is the next step to leverage it. It's not so easy because the Germans say, okay, well, it's fine, it's really great that you have done all these things, but it doesn't work in Germany, and we want to learn and to do it in Germany, but we do it in our way, and yes, you can help, you can establish your company here, but please with us. And so it's not so easy to say, okay, we have done it in Estonia, we can do it in Germany, so this doesn't work in this way.
And kind of one of the last questions that I want to ask you for today is like, which sector do you see shows like promise for Estonian companies to expand in like Germany and Sweden in the next like 3 to 5 years, right? There's a lot of founders here, there's a lot of people building companies that are interested to expand. Do you see like trend lines of like key sectors that are very much in demand in both of your markets?
Yeah, we can see that quite clearly. For Sweden, number one, I would say anything in defense, military, it's just growing crazy since Sweden joined NATO. So Sweden needs a lot of help and innovation, but we are working with a lot of projects within Enterprise Estonia and also with the Estonian government. And then I would say ICT in general, like cybersecurity, Fintech, financial services, software development is always going strong because there needs to be a lot more developers for all those kinds of services in Sweden. The third one, I would say clean tech and green technologies. So those are the top three that will continue for years to come.
Yeah, for Germany, it's maybe the first one I would say is AI. It's they somehow they hope they can solve very many of their challenges with AI, with implementing AI. So, and it can be a step into the market because you can implement AI in very many areas, in very many sectors, increasing efficiency, automating decision processes, and machine learning. There are very, very many areas you can use AI, and this is a big chance. Then also green tech, because energy topic is also very relevant, and health tech, because health sector is also facing very big challenges because of lacking of digitalization, lack of people, lack of resources. So these are areas where the most opportunities are.
Okay, thank you for sharing that as well. Last quick question. One piece of advice that you would have for people here in the audience looking to expand either to Germany or to Sweden?
I think it's before you decide to go, like do a bit of research before, and sort of like at least compile some kind of list of like, these are my potential customers, because I see a lot of companies not doing enough with research, and if you don't do that, you're never going to succeed. And most of these things you can find, I mean, online, at least for the Swedish market. I'd say that.
Okay.
Yeah, and for me, besides research, I used just also the possibility to talk to us. We are there in the markets. We are your helping hand. We are your personal agents, if you want, and always there for a talk and to discuss some possibilities, to ask some questions. So just let's talk and let's connect.
Brilliant. So do some research and schedule a call with Tom and Leana. Thank you so much for your insights, and I hope that many people will approach you and take you up on that offer. And looking forward to seeing many more Estonian companies expand to both Germany and Sweden. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.